negative impact. Sometimes you've got to let footballers be footballers. They're on the pitch. It's in them. It's in their mindset. It's in their mentality, and it's in their quality and talent and ability. And when you've got somebody like Declan Rice, who's clearly shown he can take set pieces and deliver from corners and free kicks into the box, now he's shown that he's got some absolute techers when it comes to taking direct free kicks. And I think it'll be very different now. You know, the last free kick we scored was Odegaard against Burnley in 2021. Yeah, directly. The Saka one don't count against PSG because let's just say how it is. He floated it into the box and it went all the way through and went in.
Dodgy.
Right? Yeah. So when I look at Declan Rice's two performances now, 2 free kicks now, I don't think there's anybody that can be disappointed if Odegaard's still taking free kicks. Because I like Odegaard. He's not had the best of seasons and he's getting a lot of stick at the moment. And I'm kind of struggling, sinking, trying to defend him at the moment. However,
didn't do much yesterday. Well, Tuesday.
Tuesday he was probably the worst out of the Arsenal bunch on the pitch, to be fair. But Declan Rice needs to take our free kicks now. And if they're from 25 to 35 yards, I want him to be digging them. I want him to be having the dig. I want him to be shooting. And I want him to be having the confidence to believe that he can do it, because what we've just seen from him is absolutely ridiculous. So I do feel personally that there's time now for him to take some of those on his own. Now, I understand at the time, again, I'll come back to it. I don't think Mikel Arteta believed he had that in his locker. I'm not sure that Declan Rice had the confidence to believe.
Probably surprised.
I think we're all surprised. The coaching team was surprised. The players were surprised. Rice was surprised. I think we might see a change now. And I think when we get to that, everyone's going to be like, oh, we're going to float this far post. No, Deckers is having a shot again. And I think you'll get that. You know, when you get like the next time that Saka or someone gets fouled and it's 35 yards out, every crowd's going to go, whoa, Declan.
Yeah, Rice. Mate.
Which has got pressure on him, of course, to now do it all the time, which we know he's not going to. But I think it's a good thing, man. You know, like we had David Beckham for England. I always fancied his chance. He's the best free kick taker I've ever seen. Yeah. If he can be half as good as him, we've got a special talent, bro.
Special talent. And for me, I think Rice is captain fantastic, man. I think he's like Superman. Like, I've seen you do it twice against United, saw the cracker against West Ham, saved us against Chelsea. Tuesday. I keep saying yesterday. I'm living in Wednesday morning / Tuesday night still. The man's amazing. He's worth the money. Whether he's going to be a 6 or an 8, I wouldn't describe Rice as a complete midfielder, but I think within the remit of what Declan Rice is as a footballer, he's becoming more complete. He's showing us free kicks in his locker. Obviously, he's taking set pieces and he's adding goals and assists. We bought him for that dynamism. And I don't know how to explain it, bro. But if you didn't know we bought Declan Rice for 100 million, you would think that he's been here forever. I don't want to put him in the same realm as Tony Adams and all them kind of guys. But it feels like you're moving one day into that. You touched on Odegaard, though, man. Like, I know Odegaard's struggling, and I think a lot of fans' frustration in relation to the Real Madrid game has been because Odegaard, we're not going to talk about Odegaard like we are about Rice and Partey and this one and that one. But I think he pressed well. I think he did all of that. You kind of hoped he did a bit more, but what did you make of Odegaard and actually Martinelli as well?
Yeah, both Martinelli and Odegaard had very different performances, in my opinion. Let's start with Martinelli. He's starting to show glimpses of his best performances of late. I've got to be honest with you. And although the goals and assists aren't always there with Martinelli every game, I think what he's done to create and try and allow for us, you know, I sometimes wonder where we'd be with a proper centre forward, if I'm honest with you, with Martinelli and Saka.
You're not alone.
I feel like their assists and even their goals might even double if we had a number 9. I think Martinelli had a good performance again. I didn't think he was the best player on the pitch. I've told you I think but certainly for me, he's shown glimpses of being at his best again. I thought he was excellent in the last game at the Emirates that we played, and against Everton, obviously, was more of a kind of sort of scenario to get them both back to fitness for this game. I just think he don't stop running. He's just one of those guys that never gives up. I've never ever questioned his ability and his work rate and his technical ability. Sometimes he just has to deliver on the night, and it hasn't happened for him consistently enough in the last 18 months. But I'm really, really impressed with him. And I do question the coaching of him sometimes. I don't know that he's developed in the way that I wanted him to, because I feel like we've been a lot more pragmatic, a lot more resolute and compact. And it's been about passing backwards and keeping it safe as opposed to...
He's better in these kind of games.
He's better in the fast-paced games where he can express himself. And he was allowed to do that, you know. And you see what he did against Fulham, and he just nuts in players, and he was by far the best player on the pitch, in my opinion. As for Odegaard, look, he wasn't shambles like some people are saying. He didn't have a very good night. Again, he was fairly quiet. He kept the ball moving. He pressed, and he worked hard. That's all you can ask as a bare minimum of a footballer. But that was about it. It wasn't much else from him. He definitely didn't shine. and I wanted him to have a good game, and I don't think he really delivered. Luckily, everybody around him were outstanding and kind of ended up carrying him. I've questioned him as the captain. I never really understood why he gave it to him. I never saw him as
You're
a
not
leader.
alone.
I don't go into the dressing room and see what he's like there, but I do believe that he's more of an Arteta role model, someone that Arteta wants to everyone to be like in terms of a person, as a personality, and I've got nothing wrong with that. But for me, the captain should be one of the ones on the pitch that's leading us and carrying us and taking us through. And I think Gabriel and Rice have had more performances like that have won us games by the scruff of the neck than Martin Odegaard. I look what Gabriel has done in terms of his set pieces. How many games have we won or won because of those set pieces? Declan Rice has won us games on his own, like that Real Madrid one. He's beaten teams below in divisions like Luton, we mentioned earlier, the 4-3 last minute
Finds
header.
a way to get us over the line.
Yeah, Man United in the last kick of the game a couple of seasons ago. So last season, sorry. So for me, when I look at what players have done to get us over the line by the scruff of the neck, I'm looking towards Saka, I'm looking towards Saliba, Gabriel, and of course Partey and Rice more than I am Martin Odegaard. And there's kind of every question mark I have about why you give him the armband, to be fair. Not that I think he's done a bad job. I'm not trying to say scrap him of it, get him stripped to the caps. It's nothing like that. He's never ever going to not be the captain. You know, people say, I think Declan Rice is the future captain of Arsenal. Well, he's a year younger than Martin Odegaard. So Martin Odegaard ain't 35 and he's going to give the armband to someone next year. He's going to be the captain for Arsenal for the next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion. So,
as long as he's here, yeah.
you know, that's where as long as Arteta's here, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's where I'm at with him.
And that's it, man. I think Martin Odegaard. I always run a joke on my platform. I think he's the class region. I call him Wonderguard. I try and cut every excuse under the sun. But then when you just look through it, you're just in a bad patch. You're gonna have to get yourself out of it. And football's a fickle game. You know, a lot of people might have had similar thoughts to what me and you have about Mikel Arteta or Kivior. We win a game or win games, and it changes really. And then you look at Mikel Merino, who ironically I've been wrong about a lot of stuff. But I've actually backed him from the start, not because I thought he was amazing, not because I thought he was a level raiser. I do feel in the summer we should have signed level raisers. We got ceiling ones. I do think that frustration kind of went over with some Arsenal fans. And I also feel there was a lot of tacticals that were saying he's going to replace Xhaka, he's going to do this, that, the third. All of these things went against him. I do think you need to give a player time to adapt. Now, I'm not saying he's the best thing since sliced bread, but I do like the run of form he's had. Obviously, he's getting goals. He's playing up front. He's doing all of that kind of stuff. But it's never nice to see someone down in their confidence. He's doing quite well. What did you make of him? Apparently, he's got 6 goals in 10 games. He actually has 4 against Real Madrid. And I think his overall performance has been good. If I'm honest with you, Dan, I think I keep saying this, and it's going to be Real Madrid now. But after the Fulham game, which I went to, I said, I think that was your best performance in an Arsenal shirt. I said the same about Everton, and then I've said the same against Madrid. So he's in a good run of form. What did you make of him? And also on that, like, is he better striker than Havertz for you?
So I know you backed him at the start, and I didn't. I didn't believe that it was the right thing.
One time I've been right, man.
Yeah, well, it wasn't because I didn't think he could play there, because I've never seen him play there, right? It was because I said this to Hudson yesterday and Judges. I was so pissed off that we didn't sign a striker in January that I didn't want this to be a scenario. That was where my kind of mindset was at. It's like, really, we brought this guy in to be a left 8 and now we're going to put him up top and that's your chance, that's your kind of answer. Look, I've got to be real with you, bro. If we brought in a player in January and he got 6 goals in 10 games, I'd be saying, what a January signing. So I have to remain consistent. This guy has been phenomenal. Against Leicester, he came on and I thought, that's quite interesting. Different dimension striker. Fair play. And then it went a little bit quiet for him. He scored one against PSV, but let's just be real. So did 6 other people, right? Against Chelsea, he made it 3 points. Good header. Yeah, aerial ability. And now he's been delivering consistently in the last 10 games. I think it's been unbelievable from Arteta. I think he has noticed and seen the qualities of him. I don't think he can play in midfield. He can play in midfield, but I don't think he's going to take our midfield forward. But certainly as a squad player, which is what he was signed to do, I think he's been fine. He's been better signing than Calafiori.
And I think out of all the summer signings, he's been the one that's done the business the most.
Summer signing. Yeah, he's been the best summer signing. Not that it's hard. 3 of them have hardly played. But when I look at it now, you look back and you think, do you know what? Marino's come in and he's actually bought it, to be fair. Can we stop moaning about January now? No, we can't. Are you
happy? Very reactionary, Jay, man.
You happy with January, Jay?
Yeah.
January was a great sign in summer. We signed all these players. What are you talking about, man? Come on. Look, I feel like there's a lot of credit deserves to go his way, man.
Deserves it, man. And then we've touched on Real Madrid just before we close up.
Right,
Shout out
DG,
to
one
you.
second, man. There's someone smashing at my door. Give me 2 seconds, my G.
Go on. Do your thing. Do your thing. Someone's smashing his door. It's probably Jay, man. Started moaning about January and now he's on him, man. Like Jay, on a serious note, where January is concerned, like we can be happy with the conditions positively and negatively as how we move forward. But come on, we know it's not even a Merino thing. We know what we needed to do in the summer. We know what we needed to do in January. I'm at the point where it is what it is. Like I've said it before, the Champions League, I'll be real. For me, I don't know if we're going to win the Champions League. I hope we can, but I'll be real. Away from the obvious of beating Real Madrid and what me and Dan have been waffling about for an hour, I can't explain it. But I smelt something in the air. Now, cool, clip me up. I look stupid if we don't win it. I haven't said we're going to go win the Champions League. But there was something in the air, something when I saw Mikel Arteta and all of these players, whether they came off the bench or they started, there was something I saw in my team that I have not seen since I was a child, essentially, when we won the league, or even ironically, when we got to the Champions League final, I can't explain it, but there was something. And you know what? It is what it is. We can scream and shout about Mikel Arteta and what we should have done in January and the summer. And I'm not saying to shut up about these things. We're at where we're at now. For me, I can't lie. It's a passion merchant thing. Let's just go all the way. And I'll be honest, that is one reason I kind of cut excuses for Mikel Arteta. He has to be held accountable, and I stand on everything I said. But then also when you flip it and I hold him to high standards and he's not getting over the line. One thing I like about him, before all them La Masia stuff and moving the tactics board and inverting this and that, the guy's a passing merchant. So I'm just trying to get behind the boys. If we win the league, we win the league. Win the Champions League, we win the Champions League. But again, we've got a lot of big tests. You've got Inter, who are great. Barcelona, who are great. Real Madrid, we're not over the line yet. I actually want Aston Villa for the Una Emre stuff. But yeah, a man said, nah, stop it, DG. Arsenal did try and sign forwards in January, but Arsenal fans must understand not all players think Arsenal's a top club to go to.
Nah, man.
I hear that.
Man. There's so many
excuses. Go find the players that don't think it is.
Come on,
in the same way, if we got something in January or had a great summer, I'd be waffling about how good it is. There's always a reason.
Kvaratskhelia, man. How we let Kvaratskhelia go, I do not understand.
And you saw what he did.
Absolute madness, bro. So sorry about that, man. Amazon were trying to break through my door. So
you know what? They're very tough. You know, like the DPD are the only ones that knock kind of silently, man.
It's unbelievable. I was thinking, crikey, is this the police or what's happening here? Like, unbelievable. Anyway.
I didn't know they were onto you that much for your Arteta comments, man. I ain't got long left, man.
Oh, man.
To kind of wrap this up, I want to go over some things, Like, I'm sure you've spoken about Gyokeres, but Fabrizio Romano allegedly has said Gyokeres will definitely be leaving Sporting this summer, and the Swede could be available for 65 to 70 million euros. Andrea Berto is a big fan of the striker and has been monitoring since his last summer for Atletico Madrid. Apparently, his agent was at the game, and I'll be honest, in the first half, if Gyokeres' agent was at Arsenal versus Real Madrid, you had to have been nudging your client like, yeah, you could play here. You would have scored a hat-trick already. But where are you at with that?
Brother, if this happens, oh, Lord have mercy.
We can start dreaming for real.
An absolutely outstanding signing. And people will have doubts about this because they will try to compare him to Darwin Núñez. Let me tell you why it's a different signing to Darwin Núñez. For people that think that everyone from Portugal is now going to be like Darwin Núñez. This guy is scoring 50 goals in 58 games. This season, he scored around 40 in 45 games. The season before that, he was at Coventry and single-handedly got them to a playoff final against Luton, which they lost. He scored 29 goals in the Championship. Now, when he went and scored 29 goals in the Championship, I actually give a lot of Championship players a lot of credit now. Now, probably a decade, definitely 2 decades.
Tough league, bro.
I never did. I've got to be honest with you, mate. I looked at Championship players and thought, nah, they're dusty. Now, when you look at the players that have come from it, I look at Crystal Palace, Adam Wharton, Michael Elise, Eze. You look at players that have come through.
Bowen was over there as well.
Yeah, Jared Bowen, Andrew Robertson. These guys that have come into teams that have actually now allowed there to be a great opportunity for there to be some great ballers. And then I look at Gyokeres and what he's done at Sporting Lisbon. People say it's a Farmers League. Well, why is there nobody else that's doing that then? Because I see 50 goals in 58 games. I don't see the others doing that in the Farmers
general
League.
Play.
Yeah. So for me, Gyokeres would be my absolute number one target.
26 as well, man.
If we can't get, Isak, which it doesn't look like we can, right? So for me, it would be an absolutely outstanding signing. For 60 M's, it's an absolute steal. This guy could be cheaper than Havertz. And you asked me earlier, actually, I didn't answer. Is Merino better than Havertz? Yes, he is. As a striker, yes, he is. That proves to me how bad we need a striker and how bad Havertz is. Right? So for me, Gyokeres will absolutely bang at Arsenal, in my opinion. I think he'll be excellent. And do you know what? If he doesn't, then I ain't my words, innit? He's scored at every league so far. He's been consistent. He's done it for club. He's done it for country. He's done it in the Champions League. I think he probably did it. Did he do it in the Europa the season before, or was that Champions League? Either way, he has been absolutely phenomenal.
Everyone's got
And
to
I'm a
start somewhere,
big,
man.
big fan, man. Big fan.
I can't lie, yeah. Obviously, I want to go through these quickly, but then somebody's alerted me to something in the chat. Either this guy is an Arsenal fan in disguise, or he's one of the biggest snakes I've ever seen. Apparently, our former CEO
Oh my God.
has been appointed at Tottenham. People, Vinay Ventukashev, he's their chief executive. What a snake!
Good. He
What are
was
you
rubbish
saying for
for
that?
us. Hopefully, he's rubbish for them. He was rubbish for us. So let's hope that is the case. What a nightmare! You can't do that. You can't go there. What is he
So
doing, man?
soon as well. You
That
probably ain't
is.
even cleared out your office at London Coley. Snake.
Is that just broke now?
Yeah, literally. I thought someone was trolling in the chat, and I thought, like, when you went to go and answer your door, I thought, let me type it in. And I saw it, and I think even Ornstein's offered an exclusive. Like, they're forever in our shadow, man. From talking about power shifts
They
to this,
honestly copy everything we do, bro. Yeah, I said
everything,
this.
bro.
And what's hilarious is they never copied us when we were winning at Highbury. Since we've moved to the Emirates and done things wrong or been failures or come second, they have tried to copy us in that period of time. Oh, we need to move stadiums. Oh, we need to try get top four. Oh, we need to try and give someone a project like Arteta with Pochettino. Oh, we need to go and get their old CEO. Do you know what I mean? This is the thing. They so want to be us, man. It's crazy.
The only thing they did better than us is I can't say Arsenal have got Beyonce at concerts and all of those kind of things. So shout out to them for that, innit? Really and truly. I'm with you with Gyokeres. Well, you indirectly spoke on this, yeah, and you spoke. Well, it's come out as well that David Ornstein has said that clubs have met with Dean Huijsen. I can't pronounce his name's reps. Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Tottenham, and Liverpool. I'm having him. I just wonder, are we going to find 50 odd million quid to activate his release clause and then 50 odd on Zubimendi and potentially 50 odd on Nico Williams and then Gyokeres or whoever up front? Like, I understand it. I'm all for it. He seems to be twerking for Real Madrid. And where you look at how Bournemouth play and how they're managed and Arteta, and obviously the Premier League aspect, it makes sense to sign the 19-year-old, but do you buy it? Like, do you read too much into it? Or
So, do I want him? I'd take him. Do I want us to sign him this summer? No. I'll tell you why. Because it means one of the other two are going, I think. Because he's not going to come and sit on the bench at Arsenal when he can go and get first-team football at Chelsea or go get first-team football. I think Real Madrid were circling him as well at one
yeah, and
stage.
he's twerking for them. Like everything is,
Yeah.
I grew up on Real Madrid. I want to play for Real Madrid. My friends say sign for Real Madrid. He's on it so much. He's been capped by Spain as well.
There we go. So I think that could be his dream move, is Real Madrid. So maybe he stays another season at Bournemouth and then he goes to Real Madrid, unless Real Madrid want him in now. Like, I hope that Real Madrid buy Huijsen and Konate. Then they don't want Real Madrid or Gabriel. Don't want Saliba or Gabriel. But look, I think he'll probably end up elsewhere and not Arsenal. But if he comes in as backup to Gabriel and Saliba, that's fantastic.
I'm with that. I just wonder, like, obviously it's a double-edged sword because if you go if you go to every team, it's based on what Newcastle are trying to become. Definitely Liverpool, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Chelsea, not Spurs. Even though they got two decent centre halves, you have to expect competition. You have to want to relish competition. Personally, now we can throw this lad in there, but him, Gurhi, Diamande, when I see 50+ million on the centre half, I don't know if we're going to do it. I think the interesting point is what you said there in what is going to happen with the existing two centre halves. David Ornstein also spoke about, even though this guy's on the right hand side, if Kivior goes, then we'll look to bring this guy in. But I'm sure Mikel Arteta and Berta have some sort of plan if they've really met with him and taken it that far beyond just interest. So we'll have to see how that one goes. So
if Kivior goes and he comes in, I imagine what will happen is Calafiori will be left-sided centre-back. And then Dean Huijsen will come in to cover for Saliba. That's what I imagine they'll want. But I don't know if I see it happening, bro.
You never know. Arteta might just randomly start playing him in midfield or right back or something and fair play.
Yeah, man.
I think both of us, would want Osimhen, but that's a non-story. You having Mbeumo?
Yes, I do like Mbeumo. If he's £40 million, I think it's a steal. However, I don't think he's going to go for a right winger and a left winger. I think he's going to go solely for a left winger and use Ethan to cover for Saka. That's what I think he'll do next season.
You having Gyokeres?
Oh, he's the one I do want as a left back.
He's quality.
If I could sign a left back, I'd sign him. I do think Lewis Skelly holds that position down still, and he has to then fight it. But I think this kid is absolutely quality, mate. If you want to overlap in attacking left back, I don't think there's one better in the Premier League right now. He looks
We were linked
absolutely
with him last summer as well.
superb. But I think left back, I think he's going to go Liverpool, bruv, if I'm honest.
It just makes too much sense in it. Like Robertson's good, but he's declining. Obviously, he's way better than Tsimikas. Liverpool's a big club in itself. They're about to win the Premier League. Although I have been drinking the positive Arsenal Kool-Aid off the back of winning 3-0. I hope they completely
I
capitulate.
think if I'm Liverpool and Trent goes, which I think he's going to go, I'd go and buy Daniel Munoz from Palace and Gyokeres from Bournemouth. That's what I'd do.
Mm, that's
That's
a
what I'd do.
shout. That's a shout. And they're gonna hold on to Van Dijk. I mean, only Goonily is the only Arsenal fan that's gonna sell Gabriel Magalhaes, so I won't even waste time on that.
He ain't going nowhere, man. He can't.
He definitely can't. What do you make of Havertz? Because apparently David Ornstein's more or less referred to that he's ahead of schedule, and he did score a Champions League winning goal. If we get past Real Madrid, are the stars aligning? I'm drinking the Arsenal Kool-Aid, Dan. I can't lie, man.
Yeah, listen,
He's
I
written
think
the
he's
stars.
done. I think he's done until next season, and I'm happy with that, man. We haven't missed him, bro. I've got to be real. A lot of people say that we've missed Kai. What have we missed him for? He's got a worse
A
goal scoring
chance.
record in his last 10 than Marino. So look, we've missed his depth. I don't think we've missed him in the first 11. I think we play better without Kai Havertz. I've got to be real with you. A lot of people deny that and say we're better because off the back of last season we were scoring goals. I think we will be much better with Gyokeres in the side than with him. That's my honest opinion.
I can't blame you, man. I do want to see all of our players back fit because we're going to need everyone. And I'm starting to believe the stars are aligning. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus isn't going to play this season, but he's been pictured on a bike and whatnot. What do you make of the fact that, we spoke about Gyokeres, but Ornstein has said that we still have done a significant amount of work in Sesko. We like him, but apparently there's some reservations. Now, we've heard the reservations kind of talk before. What these reservations are, I don't know, but it seems like we're moving elsewhere. What do you make of that? Do you rate Sesko? Do you think Berta's pulled Arteta aside and said, listen, I know you lot were trying to work for Sesko, but Gyokeres is win now mode. He's better than him. Let's just do that one and keep it moving.
Bro, if it's the latter, I am so happy we've got Andrea Berta. Look, I'm not saying Sesko's a bad player because he's not. He's scoring goals in Bundesliga and he's
Gyokeres is
doing
just
well.
quality, man.
But he's not the level of Isak, Gyokeres, or that man. And I think Sesko would be like the third kind of tier of striker that we're looking at. I don't see a massive difference between Havertz and Sesko, if I'm honest. Sesko's got higher potential and he can probably ping a ball better than Havertz. That's about it. I honestly... Look, I wanted Isak and Kvaratskhelia as my left winger, as my striker. If we end up with Nico Williams and Gyokeres, I'm not going to cry about it. Because for me, I think both of them can actually show some quality in this side. A lot of people aren't a fan of Nico Williams, and I get that he's not been great for his club. But for me, if those two come in, I don't think they're horrendously bad signings. Gyokeres ahead of Sesko, if that's Berta, then I love Andrea Berta, man.
And as I said to you at the start, I know it's silly from me after all the things we did on Tuesday, but just to see Berta on the pitch and tap Arteta, and I can't comment on Berta because I don't know. You haven't been given a chance to really get your feet under the door at Arsenal. But it just seems that I don't want to use this word that everyone's using, but it just seems like there's an aura about you. You give me mafia boss vibes. You give me people cross you. It's like you're like Tom Shelby out of Peaky Blinders. So I hope you could do an absolute madness. Are you having Anthony Gordon? Because we've said that Ornstein said we admire him and Nico Williams. Obviously, getting Gordon, much like getting Isak, is a myth. But would you have him?
Yeah, I would. I don't think he's leaving Newcastle.
Be
but
crazy
I would have
to
him.
leave Newcastle.
I'd take him. I think he's one of the best left wingers in the Premier League. So I would take him. I'd probably take him ahead of Nico Williams as well, if I'm honest. But I didn't think there was an opportunity to get him. Lookman is the one that I would want from European League. Gordon's the one I'd want from Premier League. But I would take Nico Williams, but he'd be my third choice, man.
Eddie's obviously announced he's leaving. I mean, obviously, me and you are not working at Arsenal, but just kind of going with Berta and whatnot. What do you make of the fact that it's come out now? Arsenal's head of recruitment, James Ellis, is expected to leave the club at the end of the season as part of their recruitment shake-up, sources have told Football Insider. I think he actually joined Arsenal when Edu did, and he's leaving kind of when he is.
Yeah, I want to see a change in the recruitment. I actually, for one, have not been a massive fan of the recruitment overall. I think there's been some brilliant signings and I think there's been some shambolic ones, man. And if I'm honest with you, there's been 31 signings since Arteta arrived and there's about 8 of them that have worked. So you've got to look at the others and think, yeah, maybe the other 23 ain't that great then. So, yeah, there's been probably 8 players you look at that have been really good for us to get us title winning or title challenging. But when you look at the goalkeepers, the left backs, some of the defenders, some of the midfielders that we've signed, Yeah, we know who the names are: Lokonga, Tavares, Pablo Marí, Fabio Vieira. The list goes on. But for
The
me, I
list
do
goes
believe
on,
that
bro.
there's probably been. I mean, Raya, Timber, White, Party, Gabriel. If I'm honest with you, Odegaard. Um, yeah, I'm
Rice,
starting to struggle on. Oh, Rice, I'm starting to
Rice
struggle on.
party.
There's been 7 or 8 that have been really good. The others, yeah,
Mm.
the other 23 have been
I
naff.
think in the attacking third, Arteta's missed probably out of it, like the middle third. Sorry, the defensive third, middle third, final third. I think Arteta or Arsenal better yet. 'Cause I don't know who's signing who. In the final third, there's been more misses, a lot more misses.
Yeah.
Defense, there's been a lot of misses, but cool. We got into the promised land. Midfield, it's more of a case of, like you said, we need to replenish. Am I wrong in saying Trossard is probably his best
Oh,
attacking
Trossard,
signing?
I'll give Trossard
Yeah,
actually.
like,
That's another one I'll say fair play to. And there's probably some I've missed. I'd have to do it
but
properly,
Saka
but
come from the academy.
yeah,
Havertz, like
Saka and
Marino,
Martinelli
ironically,
were
was a
good.
midfielder. Other than
Yeah,
that,
I don't think I can't put Jesus or Havertz as being hits.
yeah.
If I'm honest, in the attack-minded areas, I can't put Fabio Vieira. I can't put
Definitely
Lokonga.
not.
Maybe if I was pushing the boat out and struggling to say great signings, maybe a good signing has been Jorginho because he's done his job.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I'll allow Jorginho. I'll allow Jorginho. I'll
yeah.
allow
But
that one. It's cool.
the others have been flops, man. If I'm honest, and the ones that have been bought out in, you know, like what you call it, like what am I trying to say? Have been brought into like squad players, even like Lokonga and Vieira and like Tavares, Kivior, Zinchenko. They haven't been outstanding signings, man. I
Company
think there's
said
only.
Lokonga was the next Yaya Toure. I want them in the champs.
Oh my god, man! Yeah, that was
Absolute
mad.
liar. He definitely got
Um,
brown envelopes.
there's only been 4
100%.
players we haven't signed, right? So we've
Yeah,
got so it's been Saliba, Tierney, Saka, Martinelli, right? That
yeah.
he hasn't signed, and all the others he's signed. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There's been
We can't
maybe
claim
there's 8 or
Saliba as
9.
well. He did develop him, but
Yeah,
he never. Saliba's not him.
yeah. I'd say there's 8 or 9, but there's like over 20 that have been bad.
And that's where we need Berta to kind of help. And this is where I think I actually think with Arteta, you've done all the football complication thing, and you kind of still got to do that to a degree. But moving into next season, I hear it. You want a striker that pulls out to the channels, drops deep, and that. But can we just look at the primary job? Does the striker score goals? Can this winger take man on? Can this 8 or 6? Are they going to demand the ball and try and dictate the tempo? And then it's just about a couple other things, because that's the most annoying thing about Arsenal, in that it feels like we're so close. I'm not saying we're going to dominate and win everything every year, but it feels like we're so close to really achieving something of significance. But then we do like the 10 good things you have to do, and then we don't do the 10 other things. And then there's good moments along the way, but ultimately we end up without silverware. But like I said, I've been drinking the positive Kool-Aid, bro. I'm not going to say it, but let's start looking at Germany flights in it. Maybe, just maybe, just maybe. My final thing for you, yeah. Obviously, we've well, that's not going to load in it. We've pocketed 55.8 million in the Champions League, and lovely picture from Berta and Arteta. Hopefully, that means we're going to spend money. But what do you make of the fact of, Romano said Arteta's staff members Carlos Cuesta, Alberto Savenberg, Inaki Kanya, Nicholas Hover, and Miguel Molina have all signed new deals at the club. They're considered crucial by the club and of course the manager. And obviously Arteta signed a new deal a few months ago. Like, what do you make of the backroom staff committing their futures?
Yeah, no shock to me, bro. I think that they're keeping Arteta and his coaching staff again, got faith in them, and they're going to work alongside Andrea Berta. And I honestly believe now the Cronkies have decided, and I hope this is true, but it's just the outside looking in, that Andrea Berta is now in charge and Mikel Arteta just sorts out the pitch and all this coaching staff
Yeah,
sorts out
man.
the pitch. Andrea Berta brings in the players, and of course, Mikel Arteta has a say on it. It's
Collab
not
and that,
like,
yeah.
it's not like, right, Andrea Berta wants to go and sign Harry Maguire and Arteta can do nothing about it. Like, if that was the case, we'd be worried, right? So I think Andrea Berta will be saying,
Berta's
look,
David
I
Dean,
know.
your
There
Wenger,
you go. That's a
quote
great shout.
unquote.
And that's what we want to be doing. That's what we want it to be. We want him to be a right-hand man to Arteta, but he challenges Arteta and Arteta looks up to him as a role model. And he says, look, this is what we did together at Atletico Madrid. We were successful here. This is what we're going to do at Arsenal. I'll bring you
Because he used to
Gyökeres.
push back on Simeone as well.
Yeah. I mean, like Gyökeres, Williams, Zubamendi, Cunha, these are all names being linked with Arsenal. That's exciting to me. It's not like we've been linked with these 3 players I never heard of that are 18, going to be good in 5 years' time. I'll be questioning it. So you got to believe in Arteta and Berta together this summer. That's all we've got now. Roll the dice, see what they do, and then it's time to deliver, man.
And my last question then, are we winning this?
The Champions League. I'm going to say no because I'm going to remain realistic. I can't get gassed over just one result. Now I think we're the best team
You've
in the
lost me,
world.
Dan. I'm gassed, man. You lot have lost. You've lost the U troops. Everyone, you've lost the member,
Look,
man.
man,
I'm gone now. I'm gone.
I've got to be real, bruv. I've got to be real because I was like you. I was like, right, we could do something mad here. But then you got a reality hits you and you the emotion, you come down from it and you're like, do you know what? This is incredibly hard. One, I think it's still hard to get through this tie. A lot of people think we're through, but I picked
Yeah,
the
trust me,
one
got to go
again there.
Bernabeu, bro.
Yeah, Bernabeu's not fun. PSG are absolutely electric if we get them. They look ridiculous as a front
That'll be
three
a good one for the
and a
neutrals.
midfield. Yeah. And then it's Barcelona, Inter Milan, Bayern Munich. I personally think it will be Barcelona, but Inter Milan, Barcelona would be horrible in the final. And I think it will probably, if I had to put my money on it, be Barcelona who wins this. I want Barcelona in the final if we're lucky enough to get there.
Revenge.
Because one, I want revenge, and two, I actually think the defense can be got out more than Inter Milan's. I think Inter Milan would be horrible to
Forget
play
it.
against. Yeah, so that's why I'll go there, man.
It's a weird one because I know their form was different and the competition is different, but I just think Luis Enrique, well, we beat PSG before and they've obviously got exciting players. I kind of want to see us compete against Paris Saint-Germain because they play good football. And I think Arteta and Luis Enrique has done it all in the game. Arteta hasn't, but I think that's a good kind of thing. I do think we've played Inter before, we've competed, we got a dodgy penalty, so maybe it just feels like there's I don't know why, but my brain just keeps telling me stay away from Inter Milan. There's just something about them, just stay away from them. As you eloquently put, nobody wants to play Barcelona, but then you could caveat that and say nobody wants to play anyone. I'm a bit childish, but in an ideal world, I want PSG to go out. I want to play Aston Villa. I want to dump out Unai Emery because he used to be our manager and obviously Villarreal. I would love to beat Barcelona in the final. We all remember in 2006, ironically, when we beat Real Madrid en route to the final, 13 minutes away in Paris, what we could have done. If we win this Champions League, I'm going to be the happiest man under the planet. As I said, Dan, you lot have lost me. I'm just doing, you know what? I'm at the point now. This is the only thing I've got to cling on to. I'm doing positive toxicity until the end of the season and I'm back to normal, man. Dan, as you know, this is always brilliant being here with you. We're back on your platform next week.
Man.
Well, you got to come out, man, because you're always streaming. Your work rate's crazy, like.
La man, listen, you're telling me I'm telling you.
Nah,
You're
you
the
give
one
me a
who's
run for my
working
money,
hard,
man.
bro.
You do madness
Nah,
because
man.
people don't see when you
Anytime.
pop up on other streams. You're a madman.
Nah, love, bro. Come on, it's always a pleasure, man.
Come
At
on.
4 p.m. Is it 4? Yeah, 4 p.m. today. Me and Curtis on my channel. So
Big
that'll be
up,
a good
Curtis.
show. So Curtis will be coming on at 4. We're talking all things Arsenal. So make sure you join us over there, people. And football's 12th man. I dropped a little bit of a clip with your Gal versus Lee Gunner. Oh my god, man! There's another one coming out later
Big up
tonight.
them both.
Make sure you come and sub because you got to come and look at these two going
Get
at
your
it, man.
popcorn ready.
It's crazy, man. Get the popcorn out. But make sure you like and subscribe, people, and big up for having
Come
me,
on.
DG.
Likewise, man. And hopefully, we would have played Real Madrid when we're back on your platform. Hopefully, I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't want to come back to reality. There's been no point this season where I've not got to dream. This is my only thing I've got. But yeah, you heard the man.